With all the material in this class, this particular chapter, all the naming, I thought it'd be best just to do a review with you guys, and you can see here all the goals from the unit. Now, I will tell you one thing that I just realized when I read this is that those angle measures that you had to do in IXL, they gave you a protractor on the screen. So I'm hoping you figured out how to do those. If not, we can talk about it, but there aren't any of those on the quiz or the test. So we do have a quiz coming up, and I thought it'd be a good time to go through those angle pair names again and measures of angles and see how you guys do on those. So let's just jump ahead and look here at some of the angle pairs. So if you remember, vertical angles are really present when you see a big capital X in the drawing. So the lines form a capital X. So I know that CXD is along this ray, CX is along that line, and XD is along that line. So angle CXD is right here. So it's vertical, that's the upper part of the X, so you want the lower part of the X, so that would be angle AXF. Adjacent to FXE, well, there's really not just one answer for that, but FXE is an angle, and it has some next door neighbors. So the neighbor that is counterclockwise would be EXD, or the angle that is, so this is the one we're looking at. So we've got this one, which is counterclockwise, or this one, which is clockwise from there. So AXF, either one of those works for that. Okay. Linear with BXD. So BXD, we want linear with that. So here's BXD. So all we have to do is extend one of those two past X. So either extend BX out towards E or DX out towards A. So I'll do BX out here towards E. So they named BXD. So the partner supplementary for that is, or linear pair with that is DXE. So they named this one. I'm going to name its next door neighbor that make the straight line, and that's angle DXE. So supplementary to AXC. Supplementary to AXC. So again, we're going to highlight AX back through, and then there's AXC. So AXC, and then what I'll do is I'll extend AX past X towards D, and there I've got a linear pair. These two form a straight line, right? And that means the AXC partner would be CXD. Now, what if you went the other direction? What if instead of extending AX, you extended CX? So you went CXA and you extend CX. Well, now the partner for AXC is AXF instead. So it's this total angle here. And then complementary to BXC, well, complementary means 90. So I'm looking for a 90-degree angle in the drawing, and it's in red, you can see. So this is the angle. Whoops. Here's our angle right here. That's a right angle. And they need the partner or the complement of BXC. So I'm naming these two angles BXC, and then that would be angle CXD. Okay. All right, how about this one? This one gives you a pair of angles and then asks you just to classify it. You can see the multiple choice answers down there, A through F. So let's look at angle 1 and angle 2. Now there may be one or actually could be more than one answer that's correct for these. So like for 1 and 2, that you notice they form a straight line. They make up this 180 degrees here. So that makes them both a linear pair and supplementary. Okay. 3 and 2. Well, 3 and 2, they're just adjacent. They're next to each other. They share a common side. They don't make a linear pair. They're not supplementary. They're not complementary. They're not vertical. So I would say they're just adjacent. 3 and 4, well, that pair, they're adjacent, and they are actually the two angles that make up the right angle, which makes them complementary. So that would be D for that pair. 5 and 2, they are opposite sides of the capital X formed by the lines in the drawing. So those are vertical. 1 and 4. Well, 1 and 4 aren't adjacent. Therefore, they're not a linear pair. We don't know their measures, so they're not supplementary. They don't make the 90-degree angle, so they're not complementary. And they're really not vertical. One's vertical angle would be the right angle, and so they're just none. 1 and 5. Well, those are on the same side of the line. They make 180 degrees, so they are definitely a linear pair, and they are also supplementary. Okay. So find the measure of MCXD. Well, this is one of those workarounds. Well, if you look at the 33, it's the bottom half of the capital X in the drawing, and then this is the top half of the capital X. And we know that vertical angles are congruent. Those are a vertical pair. They're congruent, so we know that CXD is also 33 degrees. How about FXD? Well, again, we know CXD. Oh, that's not going to help us. Well, I suppose we can just do this. We can just say AXF and FXD. Well, FXD is not a straight line, but what we can do is we can make a linear pair with something. So I can either extend FX through to C or DX through to A. And I think I'll do DX through to A because that gives me this angle 33. And so these two angles now make up 180. So 180 minus 33. 70, 60, 50, 47, 147 is my answer there. Okay. EXD. Well, if we mark EXD, we can either extend EX through to B or DX through to A. And I think EX through to B is the best thing to do because now you have a linear pair here. So ignore this ray, and what you see is EXD and DXB must both be right angles. If this one's 90, this one over here must be 90. So that's 90 degrees. Okay. CXB. CXB. Well, I know that CXB and CXD, these make 90. And if I use my vertical angle pair, let's see the big X, the 33 down at the bottom, its vertical angle is at the top. And so I've got 90 minus 33, which I believe is 57 degrees. That gives me this angle here. Okay. I think this is the last one. CXB. I think we just did CXB. That's the same question again. So guess what? It's 57. All right. Hopefully that helps you prepare for your quiz.